let's go. Welcome to This Walking Life. Today we're in Melbourne, Australia, and this morning we're outside the paddock that grew, the home of Australian cricket, the home of Australian rules football, the Melbourne Cricket Ground, and as a special preview to the Boxing Day Test Series for the Indian and UK viewers who haven't had the pleasure to being able to enjoy a Boxing Day Test, and our friends in South Africa. Today's video we're just introducing you to the surrounds of the sporting precinct and also launching our Sporting Heroes series on This Walking Life, where we'll be introducing you to some of the tributes that have been paid around this ground to the various sporting legends whose dedication to their particular field of sport has helped build the cultural value of this ground and thrilled hundreds of thousands of spectators, if not millions, at this ground and around Australia as well as around the world.
Shirley Strickland-Delahunty, AO MBE, 1925 to 2004. In setting a track and field record that stood for 20 years, Shirley competed at 3 Olympic Games and won 7 medals: silver and 2 bronze at London, 1948, a bronze and gold at Helsinki, 1952, and 2 gold medals at Melbourne in 1956. She was an outstanding and enduring character during a lifetime of competition, coaching and official duties for Australian athletics. Betty, AM MBE. Australia's inspirational golden girl, Betty won 3 gold medals in the 100 metres, 200 metres and 100 metres relay at the 1956 Melbourne Olympics. She later won a 4th gold in the inaugural 400 metres women's event at the Tokyo Olympics in 1960. Shane Warne. Named as one of Wisden's 5 greatest cricketers of the 20th century, Shane Warne dominated world cricket for 15 years. He revived the art of leg spin bowling, combining prodigious spin and drift with unerring accuracy or variations. Charismatic and fiercely competitive, Warne captured 708 test wickets, 193 one-day international wickets. His dismissal of England's Mike Gatting in 1993 is regarded as the ball of the century. Many of Victoria's finest moments, launching his career with 7 for 52 to destroy the West Indies in 1992, Ash's hat-trick in 1994, 700th test wicket in 2006, all occurred at the MCG where he was a hero. First Australian rules football game. This is a sculpture commemorating the first game of Australian rules football played in 1858. The first recorded game of Australian football began on the tree-totted parklands outside the Melbourne cricket ground, and teams from Scotch College and Melbourne Grammar School on the 7th of August 1858. After 3 playing days, the game ended in a draw, with each team kicking 1 goal. Each team selected its own umpire. Scotch College chose Dr. John McAdam. Melbourne Grammar School chose Tom Wills, who is depicted as the third figure in the sculpture. Tom Wills, a son of pastoral Australia, educated at Rugby School, England, did more than any other person, footballer and umpire, co-writer of the rules, promoter of the game, to develop Australian football during its first decade. Enthusiasm and coaching resulted in the first Australian cricket team of England by the Aboriginal team. Tom Wills. Commemorating one of the earliest games of Australian football, this statue features Tom Wills, an early sporting pioneer and foundation figure. One of the earliest recognised games of Australian football took place in Yarra Park beside the MCG on the 7th of August 1858. Melbourne Grammar School. The game was umpired by Thomas Wills, who, with William Hammersley, Thomas Smith and James Thompson, are acknowledged as founders of Australian rules football. Dennis Lillee. With menacing speed and bounce, Lillee burst onto the international scene at 9 against the powerful World 11 Perth. Returned from a serious back injury in 1970. His slightly reduced pace, offset by a compelling mix of guile and perseverance, he became a legend of Australian cricket, retiring in 1984 as the highest test wicket taker, 155 victim. Many regard Lillee as the greatest fast bowler of any. He was an inaugural inductee of the Australian Cricket Hall of Fame in 1996. Will Ponsford, 1900-1991. A prodigious run maker, Will Ponsford was the first player to make 2 scores, 400 or more in first-class cricket. He played 29 tests from 1924 to 1934, scoring 2,122 runs at 48. MCG specialist, Connie averaged a remarkable 56 points and amassed 13,819 runs for Australia and Victoria. 18. He was an inaugural inductee into the Australian Cricket Hall of Fame in 1996. Dick Reynolds, 1915-2002. A brilliant and scrupulously fair footballer who captain-coached Essendon to 4 premierships in 1942, 1946, 1949, 1950 During a coaching career from 1939 to 1960, Dick Reynolds won Brownlow medals in 1934, 1937 and 1938. He was also Club Western Fairest 7 times. He represented Victoria 17 times, played 320 games, in 1933, 1951. He was also an inaugural legend of the AFL Hall of Fame. Haydyn Bunton, 1911-1955. A brilliant and courageous Australian rules footballer, Haydyn Bunton was noted for his extraordinary endurance, balance and ball movement. He played 119 games between 1931 and 1937. He also played in 1942. Haydyn Bunton represented Victoria 12 times. He was the first Brownlow medalist, winning football's most prestigious award in his first 2 seasons, also 1935. Keith R. Miller, AM, MBE, 1919-2004. A mercurial, match-winning all-rounder, Keith Miller played 55 tests for Australia and was universally admired as one of the game's greatest players in the decade after World War II. He represented Victoria at football. He also played 50 games of Aussie rules football for the St Kilda Football Club. Sir Donald Bradman, 1908-2001. The Don played 52 tests for Australia from 1928 to 1940. He was captain in tests, scoring 6,996 runs, world record average of 99 points. His amazing first-class batting record, 117 centuries, included 19 centuries. G. Leigh Matthews, 1952. Combining a rare blend of skill, strength and aggression, lethal Leigh Matthews was a champion rover forward for the Hawthorn Football Club. He kicked 915 goals in 322 games, playing in 4 premiership teams. He also represented Victoria 14 times. After his playing career, he coached Collingwood to the 1990 premiership. He also coached Brisbane from 1999, winning successive premierships in 2001, 2002 and 2003. Ron Barassi, AM. A champion player, inspirational captain and coach, Ron Barassi was also a strong advocate of the national competition of Australian rules football. Ron Barassi played 254 games for Melbourne Carlton football clubs from 1953 to 1969. After his playing career, he coached 514 games, starting in 1965 and ending in 1995. He coached 514 games from 1965 to 1995 at Carlton, North Melbourne, Melbourne and Sydney. Ron Barassi is a member of the AFL Hall of Fame, where he's a legend. His career includes 10 premierships from 17 grand finals. John Coleman, a champion full forward who played 98 games for Essendon in the Victorian Football League. John Coleman played between 1949 and 1954. In a remarkable career cut short by a serious leg injury, he kicked 537 goals, including 12 on debut, and he was renowned for his high-flying marks. In each of the 6 years he played, he was Essendon's leading goal kicker and led the VFL goals tally on 4 occasions. John Coleman played in 2 premierships at Essendon, 1949 and 1950. Following his playing career, coached the Bombers for 7 seasons, leading them to premierships in 1962 and 1965. He passed away in 1973 at the age of 44. John Coleman's achievement earned him selection in the AFL Team of the Century, the induction into the Australian Football Hall of Fame. Since 1955, the year after Coleman retired, the John Coleman Medal has been presented to the VFL AFL's leading goal kicker.
Welcome to This Walking Life. Today we're in Melbourne, Australia, and this morning we're outside the paddock that grew, the home of Australian cricket, the home of Australian rules football, the Melbourne Cricket Ground, and a special preview to the Boxing Day Test Series for the Indian and UK viewers who haven't had the pleasure to being able to enjoy a Boxing Day Test, and our friends in South Africa. Today's video we're just introducing you to the surrounds of the sporting precinct and also launching our Sporting Heroes series on This Walking Life, where we'll be introducing you to some of the tributes that have been paid around this ground to the various sporting legends whose dedication to their particular field of sport has helped build the cultural value of this ground and thrilled hundreds of thousands of spectators, if not millions, at this ground and around Australia as well as around the world. Let's go.
G'day, it's the bloke who walks, and I just wanted to add my condolences to the family of Dean Jones, who passed away very suddenly, very unexpectedly, and way too young at the age of 59. He passed away in India in September, October, while working his commentary duties for the IPL, and it's a very sad passing. And it made sense as I was editing this video today. Made sense to add a tribute to Dean Jones in the way of saying thanks for all the memories and that this ground was certainly a grand stage for him, and he took on the greatest bowlers of his generation. Some of them had him in all sorts. I was actually at the MCG 3 or 4 days in a row, and then I was also there on the very last day, the very last session. Dean Jones had been tormented all that summer, the summer of 86, 87. He was absolutely tormented by Richard Hadlee and made to look pretty foolish. And Australia was pretty below average, barely competitive team in the 80s, which was a shame, given that's when I was a really passionate cricket supporter and player. But that's just one memory that I've got of Dean Jones, and many more. He was unbelievably charismatic to watch on the TV, and I haven't, apart from that New Zealand Test series, I can't say with any honesty that I remember seeing him bat, although I know I did. But it's a terrible loss. He's a big part of cricket in Australia and in Victoria. So I thought it would be fitting to include a little thank you to Dean Jones and condolences to his family. We're going to really miss his passion for the game and the knowledge that he built up. He had so many opinions about the game, but I just thought it'd be fitting to include a minute's silence for Deano. It's coming up in about 2 minutes, just as a way of saying thanks. There's some great memories. He was an unbelievable player. He literally did change the game, and he did it before Warne came on the scene, and that's saying something, but he was just as big as Warne in his day, to be honest. So thanks, Deano. Thanks, viewers, for watching this, and we'll see you next time.
Behind me is the paddock that grew into the MCG, the Melbourne Cricket Ground. And today we'll not only be introducing you to the Melbourne Cricket Ground, but also this is the start of our Sporting Legends series. And this is ahead of the Boxing Day Test between India and Australia on the 26th of December 2020. Yes, the coronavirus has not stopped the cricket season. And for all our Indian viewers and English viewers, for those that you haven't had the good fortune to be at a Boxing Day Test, this video and the ones in the Test series that we'll be following, especially on the Boxing Day Test, I'll be introducing you to the surrounds of the MCG. And today specifically we'll be stopping around looking at the various tributes paid to the athletes, the cricketers, the Australian rules footballers and the athletes that have made this sporting venue the spiritual home of every sports fan in not just Melbourne, Australia, but around the world. Let's go. So I guess that's about it. Welcome to Melbourne, Australia, and welcome to This Walking Life. I'm the bloke who walks, and welcome to this video, which is a talking video, not a walking video, bringing you up to date with the recent announcement of changes to the start date of the Australian Open Grand Slam tournament for 2021. And I'll give you a tip right now. We don't claim to be the go-to online platform for the most up-to-date news for the Australian Open, but stick around to the end of this video and I'll tell you where you should be going for all your news and updates on any tennis related content and news, not only in Melbourne but for tennis around the world. If you're a new viewer to this channel, subscribe to this channel. It's not just about tennis, it's about Melbourne, to share the best of this city with people around the world. The personality and culture of Melbourne is premium on this channel. I'd encourage you to subscribe to this channel. It's not just about tennis, it's about Melbourne. And it's my goal to share the best of this city with people around the world through this content channel. Please come back again, and we hope that where you are, there's lots of Christmas cheer ahead for you and into the new year. So to finish off, I did say at the start of this video that I'd have a tip for you. There's no way known that I'll ever claim this channel as the go-to place for news about tennis or news about anything, to be honest, but I do want to give you a tip. If you're looking for the most current, up-to-date news from one of the best sports broadcasters, not just in Melbourne or Australia, but covers international tennis around the world, I'd encourage you to tune into a podcast called The First Serve that you can find on Apple or Google or Spotify or any podcast platform. The First Serve, presented by Brett Phillips, a Melbourne-based tennis broadcaster and sports broadcaster. And The First Serve has a number of other podcasts within their channel content. One of them being Aussies Only, if you're a fan of Alex Deano, Ash Barty, Alex Bolt or Jordan Thompson. If you listen to Aussies Only, you can also catch up on where Thanasi Kokkinakis is with his tennis career, the up-and-comers of the Australian sporting landscape in the tennis environment. So that's all from me for this video. I'm hoping that this video, this news bulletin of this Australian Open announcement is of some value to you, even if you're not a tennis fan. And even if you're not a fan of this particular channel, but I hope you'll become one, and I hope you'll join me on other walking video tours. I plan to highlight the Melbourne International Comedy Festival, the Australian Formula 1 Grand Prix, amongst other things coming up, and some places of interest, obvious interest and not so obvious, around the city of Melbourne and possibly on the outskirts. I'm the bloke who walks. This channel is This Walking Life, and thank you for watching, listening and sharing would be much appreciated. Bye for now, and we hope that where you are, there's lots of Christmas cheer ahead for you and into the new year.